Welcome to a discussion of Oracle Hyperion Financial Reporting. Financial reporting is one of many tools that are available for reporting on S-based data. Financial reporting is an application-based studio that can graphically design and distribute production-style reports, whereas SmartView is an Excel add-in mainly used for quick reporting and analysis. And it gives you a spreadsheet view of data, although it can give you some graphical displays via some of its built-in reporting tools, and it's the replacement for the older spreadsheet add-in. There's also Web Analysis, which is a web-based studio for reporting analysis, but it's better used for more visual displays and controls of varying data. Interactive reporting is another application-based tool, but it's one of the older tools around, and one of the newer ones is OBIEE answers and dashboards. But back to financial reporting. It's an application-based studio. It's used for production reports, compliance reports, those kinds of things where you need book quality financial reports. And with it, you're going to graphically and design those reports using report objects like grids, charts, images, and text objects, which we'll see coming up shortly. And you will create individual reports, and then combined with Workspace, from Workspace, you will view and administer those reports and possibly combine those reports into what are called books and then batch the distribution of multiple reports or books across your enterprise and schedule those batches to be distributed on a weekly, monthly type basis. Here are the objects available for creating in financial reporting: an image, a text object, a grid object, which is like a spreadsheet, and a chart. So the features are creating these highly formatted reports. And there's a wide formatting variety there. That's one of the key aspects of it. You can also launch related content from a financial reporting report when it's viewed in Workspace. So when you click on a data cell or a member cell, it might launch into a PowerPoint presentation. The reports that you create can be static, meaning they're an historical snapshot of data at a certain point in time, or most likely they're going to be dynamic reports. Every time they're displayed, it's going out to the database and refreshing it with new data. Another feature is its integration with Workspace for the distribution of reports that was just discussed. So here are the two main windows of Financial Reporting Studio. On the left is the Explorer window, where you go to the folders, the reports, and saved objects of reports in order to work with them in the Studio aspect of it on the right-hand side here. And here you see a grid-based studio where you can line up your objects. You see a header, there's a footer, you see properties over here on the right-hand side, which is vastly important. So the basic flow is create a report, and in that report you're going to add objects to it, be they grid, chart, image, text, or all of the above. And then most importantly, you're going to customize those objects using their properties. And then once you've created the report, users can view them in Workspace, administrators can administer who has access to those reports, and then you can create books from those reports and batch the distribution of those books and individual reports. So in order to add a grid object, you simply click on the grid button and draw the grid on the template. Then you have to select which database that you're connecting to and select the dimensions that you want to populate the rows, product here, columns, market here, pages, the year dimension here, and the point of view, our measures dimension and our scenario dimension in this 5-dimension database. Then for each row, column, page, point of view, you select which members you want to appear or to be able to be selected from in those rows, columns, pages, and point of view. And in this member selection dialog here, there are many, many ways of selecting the members you particularly want, including saved lists, functions to extract the proper members, including substitution variables. Once you've selected members for the dimensions, then they appear like this. I've selected 5 members from the year dimension for my pages. I've selected actual for my scenario, point of view, sales for my measures point of view, 4 different markets that I want to appear in my columns of my spreadsheet, 4 different products that I want to appear in the rows of my spreadsheet. And then once I print preview it in either a standard print preview or an HTML print preview, you see that I have east, west, south, and central, not formatted too well right now, and I've got 100, 200, 300, 400 in my rows, and I'm looking at the year page right now. This does not show me the point of view in the standard print preview, whereas in the HTML print preview, it allows me to switch pages, which the standard print preview does with next page and previous page buttons. But it also allows me to change the point of view by clicking on those buttons and changing the point of view. And you can see how it's formatted a bit differently than the standard print preview. But most importantly, once you've selected the members, you're going to want to change the properties of those members, those dimensions, and so forth. And there are multiple properties. There are grid properties, page, row, and column heading properties, row and column data properties, and specific data cell properties, including things like related content. If I click on this row or column member, if I click on this data cell member, it could open up a PowerPoint, a Word document, a URL. I can throw in automatic calculations of grand totals, averages, and so forth. Everything can be accessed via a right-click pop-up menu, and in that right-click pop-up menu, there are many things that are common to many of the different members, and you can do things like formatting or conditionally formatting. If the data is a certain value, turn it yellow or red, those kinds of things. And of course, you can cut, copy, and paste things. You can save templates because you worked on things for an extended period of time, and you might want to use that same set of rows, those same set of columns formatted in a certain way in many different reports, so you'll save that row or column as a template. The chart object, you select the chart button and draw the chart on the template. And a bar chart is created automatically, but you can select bar charts, line, pie, or a bar and line combination chart, and via the properties you can change the legend and the format, including automatic calculations like grand totals and averages from the grid that is associated with the chart. The chart has to be associated with some grid already on display, but you don't have to necessarily display the grid that the chart is created from. You can hide the grid. Then you add text objects. Sometimes you'll add static text and sometimes you'll add dynamic text, like I've done here with a date function that will, of course, every time it's displays today's date. But there are 32 different text functions you can add to your text objects. Image objects are just pictures. You select the image button, draw the image, and select the image to be placed on the object. You can stretch it and do a few other things with the images. Ultimately, coming up with something like this. In the background here, you see how it would appear in the Financial Reporting Studio itself. Here you see it as it would appear in the print preview format. And then here is how it would appear actually to the end user in Workspace, from which they see that the text objects, the functions that were supplied, have been populated with whatever the functions return. They can change the point of view by clicking on these hyperlinks, and they can change the pages by going to the drop-down. And they have an image, text, grid, and chart in this particular report. Ultimately, you're going to want to both look at, administer, and distribute these reports, and you're going to do that from Workspace. It's a web interface used to access not only financial reporting content, but other content. But in our case, we're going to view the financial reports in either HTML or PDF format. And ultimately, once we want to send these reports out to our end users, we can collect multiple reports into books and distribute them to different or the same users. And we can schedule and reschedule that batch as needed. So that's a quick overview of what financial reporting is. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact HCG in any of the methods you currently see on the screen.